Hey everyone, welcome back to the Stay Stoic channel. Today we're diving deep into a topic that hits close to home for almost everyone, heartbreak. But we're not just going to talk about the pain, the tears, or the late-night phone calls to friends. We're going to explore why heartbreak is so difficult to get over, and why we keep falling into the same traps, like thinking about our ex, replaying old memories, or even stalking their social media at 2 a.m. Sound familiar? You're not alone. But here's the thing, it's not just emotional, it's chemical, and that's where the real challenge lies. Let's start with something you might not have heard before. Scientifically, heartbreak is like an addiction. That's right. Brain studies have shown that when we're going through the withdrawal of romantic love, the same parts of our brain are activated as when addicts are withdrawing from substances like cocaine or opioids. That's why it feels like you can't function, why it's hard to focus, and why you can't just snap out of it. Your brain is going through something that's not so different from what a drug addict experiences when they're trying to quit. Think about it. Why else would you keep going down those rabbit holes, even when you know they're going to make you feel worse? Why do you keep checking their social media, asking mutual friends about them, or replaying the same memories over and over again in your mind? It's because your brain is hooked. You're addicted to the idea of them, to the hope that things could be different, and to the memories that keep you tied to them. Let me share a story with you. Maria's story. Maria had been in a relationship with Matt for 3 years. They had what seemed like the perfect relationship, but over time things started to fall apart. Eventually Matt broke things off and Maria was devastated. Like many of us, she couldn't stop thinking about him. Every time she thought about their time together, it was like she was getting a little fix, a little hit to keep her going. But here's the thing, Maria wasn't just reminiscing about the good times, she was feeding an addiction. You see, her unconscious mind knew she couldn't have the heroin of actually being with Matt anymore, so it chose the methadone of memories instead. Every time she replayed a memory of them together, it was like a tiny shot of relief, but it was also keeping her stuck in her pain. Her instincts were telling her that she was trying to solve some mystery, like figuring out what went wrong, why he left, or how she could get him back. But what she was really doing was feeding her addiction. And that's what makes heartbreak so hard to heal. Addicts know they're addicted. They know when they're shooting up. But when you're heartbroken, you don't always realize that you're feeding an addiction too. When a relationship ends, one of the most agonizing aspects is the uncertainty that often lingers. We now know from research that understanding why the relationship ended is essential for moving on. Yet even when given a straightforward explanation, many of us struggle to accept it. Take Maria, for instance. When her partner Matt ended their relationship, he provided her with a clear reason, but the simplicity of his explanation didn't sit well with her. The emotional pain she was experiencing was so intense that it felt like there had to be something more, a hidden cause that she hadn't uncovered yet. This reaction is common. Heartbreak can be so overwhelming that our minds instinctively search for dramatic explanations to match the intensity of our feelings. This powerful gut instinct can lead even the most rational individuals to concoct mysteries and scenarios where none actually exist. Maria, for example, became convinced that something must have happened during a specific time they spent together that had changed everything. Perhaps it was a conversation they had, or maybe something she said or did that she couldn't quite remember. This idea took root in her mind, and she became obsessed with figuring out what it was. She spent countless hours going over every detail of their last days together, searching for clues that simply weren't there. Her mind tricked her into believing that if she could just pinpoint the exact moment things went wrong, she could make sense of her pain, or maybe even find a way to undo it. But the reality was that Matt's reason for ending the relationship was as clear and honest as it seemed. There was no hidden cause, no mystery to solve. What makes heartbreak so treacherous isn't just the emotional turmoil, but the way it can hijack our thinking, trapping us in endless cycles of rumination. Maria, in essence, was going through a form of withdrawal. Just as an addict craves their drug of choice, Maria craved the emotional connection she once had with Matt. Since she could no longer have the high of being with him, her unconscious mind settled for the fix of reliving her memories of him, keeping her locked in a cycle of longing and pain. This process is what kept Maria going back to those memories, trying to piece together what had happened. Even though she knew deep down that revisiting the past wasn't helping her, the addictive nature of heartbreak kept her hooked. Each time she revisited those memories, she felt a fleeting sense of connection to Matt, but it ultimately deepened her wounds and made healing more difficult. Heartbreak is a master manipulator, driving us to do exactly what we need to avoid to move on. For Maria, and for anyone in her situation, the first step toward healing is recognizing that these compulsive thoughts aren't a reflection of reality, but are rather the brain's desperate attempt to cope with the loss of love. Only by understanding this can we begin to break free from the cycle and move toward true recovery. Recognizing the addiction, the first step to healing. Now here's the kicker. You might not even realize you're addicted, but now that you know, you can't ignore it. If your heart is broken, you have to recognize that, as compelling as it might be, every time you take a trip down memory lane, every text you send, every second you spend looking at your ex's social media, you're deepening your emotional pain. You're making it harder for yourself to recover. Getting over heartbreak isn't a gentle journey, it's a fight. And your reason, your logic, is your strongest weapon. No explanation for the breakup is ever going to feel satisfying enough. No rationale can take away the pain you're feeling. So don't search for one, don't wait for one. Just accept the reason you were given or make up one yourself and then put the question to rest. You need that closure to resist the addiction. There's something else you need to do. You have to be willing to let go. You have to accept that it's over. Because if you don't, your mind will feed on hope, and hope can be incredibly destructive when your heart is broken. Hope is often seen as a positive thing, but when it comes to heartbreak, hope can be your worst enemy. Heartbreak is a master manipulator. It's amazing how easily it gets our minds to do the exact opposite of what we need to do in order to recover. One of the most common tendencies we have when our heart is broken is to idealize the person who broke it. We forget the flaws, the reasons it didn't work out, and instead, we put them up on a pedestal. But this idealization only keeps us stuck in our pain, longing for something that wasn't as perfect as we remember. Step 2. Breaking the cycle, understanding why we idealize our exes. This tendency to idealize our exes isn't just about the person we lost. It's about what they represented. We're not just mourning the loss of someone we loved. We're mourning the loss of a future we had started to envision with them. Every relationship is a mix of reality and potential. We don't just see our partner as they are, we also see them as they could be, as part of the life we're building together. When a relationship ends, we're not just losing the person in the here and now. We're losing all the possibilities we had attached to them. The plans, the dreams, the what-ifs, they all come crashing down, leaving us to pick up the pieces. And this is where the real struggle begins. Our minds are wired to seek patterns and make sense of our experiences. When something as significant as a relationship ends, especially if the end was unexpected or abrupt, it leaves us with a lot of unanswered questions. We start to replay every moment, searching for clues, for signs we missed, trying to make sense of what happened. This search for answers can quickly turn into an obsession as we try to reconcile the person we thought we knew with the reality of the breakup. But here's the hard truth. What you're really missing isn't the person themselves, but the idea of them. You're missing the potential you saw in them, the dreams you had together, the future you imagined. That's why letting go is so incredibly difficult. It's not just about saying goodbye to someone you loved. It's about coming to terms with the fact that the future you had planned is no longer going to happen. So what do we do with this realization? How do we stop idealizing our exes and start moving forward? The first step is understanding that this idealization is a natural, albeit misleading, part of the healing process. It's your brain's way of trying to make sense of the loss, of holding on to something that felt meaningful and important. But just because it's natural doesn't mean it's helpful. Recognizing that what you're really mourning is an idea rather than the reality can be incredibly liberating. It allows you to start seeing the relationship for what it really was, both the good and the bad. This clarity is crucial because it helps you stop romanticizing the past and start focusing on the present and the future. Letting go of the idealized version of your ex doesn't happen overnight. It's a process that requires conscious effort and a lot of self-compassion. You might find yourself slipping back into old patterns, replaying those happy memories and feeling the sting of loss all over again. That's okay. Healing isn't a straight line. It's a journey with its ups and downs. Step 3. How to fight back using logic and reason to heal. So how do you fight back when your heart feels like it's been shattered? How do you stop yourself from falling into that all-too-familiar trap of idealizing your ex and reliving every moment in your mind? The first step may seem simple, but is crucial. Use your logic and reason. This sounds easier said than done, especially when emotions are running high, but it's one of the most effective tools you have. If you're still with us, it's clear that this topic is resonating with you. If you haven't had a chance to like the video or subscribe to our channel yet, I'd be incredibly grateful if you could take a moment to do so now. Your support is vital and helps us continue creating content that truly connects with you. Now let's dive into how to fight back obsessing over your ex. When you're heartbroken, your brain plays tricks on you. It has a habit of amplifying the good parts of the relationship while minimizing or completely erasing the bad. That's why, when you think about your ex, you often find yourself focusing on their smile, the way they made you feel during the happy moments, and the things you'll miss. You conveniently forget the arguments, the stress, and the times you questioned if this was really right for you. Your brain is trying to protect you from the pain by romanticizing the past, but in doing so, it keeps you stuck. Here's where logic comes in. Write down the reasons why the relationship ended. You don't need to write an essay, but jot down a few key moments that made you doubt things, the ways in which your needs weren't met, or the reasons that led to the breakup. This isn't about bashing your ex or dwelling on the negative. It's about grounding yourself in reality, something that's incredibly hard to do when you're drowning in emotional pain. Keep that list somewhere easily accessible, like on your phone. The next time you find yourself replaying the good times or feeling that tug of longing, pull out your list, read it. Remind yourself that the relationship wasn't perfect, that it had flaws, and that you deserve better. This isn't about fostering resentment or anger. It's about helping your mind remember why things didn't work out, so you can start to let go of the illusion and deal with the reality. Another important step in healing is to stop searching for closure from external sources. This is one of the hardest lessons to learn, especially because we're wired to seek answers. When a relationship ends, especially if it feels abrupt or confusing, we want to know why. We want a neat explanation that will make the pain go away. But here's the thing. No explanation will ever feel satisfying enough. No rationale will ever take away the hurt. Even if your ex sits you down and tells you every single reason they ended things, it's unlikely that any of it will feel like enough to quiet your mind or heal your heart. So stop waiting for some magical explanation or some big revelation that will make everything better. You may never get the kind of closure you're looking for, and that's okay. Closure isn't something someone else gives you. It's something you find within yourself. Accept the reason you were given, even if it feels incomplete or unfair. Or if you weren't given much of a reason, make one up yourself that you can live with, and then allow yourself to put the question to rest. The why of the breakup will never be as important as the fact that it happened, and staying fixated on the reason will only keep you tied to the past. The more you let go of the need for a satisfying answer, the more space you create for healing. Another critical part of breaking the cycle is to be mindful of your thoughts and how they might be keeping you stuck. When you're heartbroken, your mind loves to play tricks on you. You may catch yourself imagining scenarios where you could have done things differently, or moments where you think, maybe if I just said this, they would have stayed. But these are illusions. The what-ifs and could-have-beens don't exist in reality. They exist only in your mind, and they keep you tethered to a version of the relationship that isn't real. Every time you feel yourself slipping into that cycle of thought, gently pull yourself back to the present. It's not easy, and it won't happen overnight, but the more you practice redirecting your thoughts, the less power those fantasies will hold over you. Try to ground yourself in the now by focusing on what's in front of you, your job, your hobbies, your friends and family. Reconnect with the things that make you feel whole outside of the relationship. Little by little, as you invest your energy into other aspects of your life, the hold that your ex has on your mind will loosen. Letting go also involves shifting the narrative you tell yourself about the breakup. Often we get stuck because we keep telling ourselves stories that aren't helpful. Stories like, "I'll never find someone like them again," or "They were the best thing that ever happened to me." But the truth is, those stories aren't factual, they're emotional. Challenge those thoughts when they arise. Instead of telling yourself that your ex was your only shot at happiness, remind yourself that you are fully capable of creating happiness on your own. Instead of believing that you've lost the best thing that ever happened to you, recognize that the best is yet to come. It sounds cliché, but it's true. Your future is full of possibilities, and the pain you're experiencing right now will not last forever. Another powerful tool in fighting back is reframing how you view the breakup. Rather than seeing it as a failure or a loss, try to view it as an opportunity for growth. Every relationship teaches us something about ourselves, what we need, and what we don't want. This breakup, as painful as it is a chance for you to learn more about yourself and what you want in your future relationships. It's a stepping stone, not a dead end. Lastly, surround yourself with support. Healing from heartbreak can feel isolating, but it doesn't have to be. Reach out to friends and loved ones who care about you. Share your feelings, cry if you need to, and lean on others when it feels like too much to bear alone. There's no shame in needing help, and sometimes just talking things through with someone who cares can help lift the weight off your chest. Fighting back against heartbreak isn't about suppressing your emotions or trying to get over it quickly. It's about being kind to yourself, using your logic to guide your emotions, and allowing yourself the time and space to heal. You have the strength within you to move forward, and while the journey might be tough, it will also lead you to a place of clarity and peace. And in that place, you will find not only healing but also hope for the future. Step 4. The importance of acceptance, letting go of what could have been. Acceptance is the hardest part, but it's also the most crucial. You have to accept that it's over, that the future you imagined with this person isn't going to happen. That's a tough pill to swallow, but it's necessary for your healing. It's like the stages of grief. You go through denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and finally acceptance. And just like grief, you might move back and forth between these stages. One day you might feel like you're ready to move on, and the next you're back to feeling devastated. That's normal. Healing isn't a linear process. It's messy and it takes time. But with every step you take towards acceptance, you're taking a step away from the pain. You're reclaiming your life, your future, and your happiness. And that's what this journey is all about, finding your way back to yourself. Step 5. Rebuilding your life, finding new meaning and purpose. Once you've started to accept that the relationship is over, it's time to start rebuilding your life. This is where the real healing happens. It's about finding new meaning and purpose outside of the relationship. It's about rediscovering who you are, what you want, and what makes you happy. Start building a new vision for your life, one that isn't tied to your past relationship. This vision should reflect your own values, dreams, and desires, independent of anyone else. Ask yourself, what do you want your life to look like in the next year, 5 years, or even 10 years? What goals do you want to achieve, and what steps can you take to get there? Creating a vision board or writing down your goals can be incredibly helpful. It gives you something tangible to look at and work towards. This process can reignite your passion and purpose, giving you the motivation to move forward and leave the past behind. Remember, this is your chance to rewrite your story. Maybe there were things you put on hold because of your relationship. Now is the time to pick them back up. Whether it's pursuing a career change, traveling, or developing new hobbies, these new pursuits will help you reconnect with yourself and discover new sources of happiness. Step 6. Rediscovering yourself. After a breakup, one of the hardest parts of going through a breakup is figuring out who you are without that relationship. When you've been with someone for a while, it's easy to start seeing yourself as part of a duo rather than as an individual. You share routines, friends, even future plans. And when it all ends, it can feel like you're losing a part of yourself, not just the relationship. Think about it. So much of your life becomes intertwined with your partners. Maybe you spent weekends with their friends, picked up new hobbies together, or even started shaping your future around a life as a couple. When that relationship is suddenly gone, it's like a rug has been pulled out from under you, and you're left standing in this empty space wondering who you are now. The truth is, healing after a breakup isn't just about getting over the person you lost. It's also about rediscovering who you are outside of that relationship. This isn't something that happens overnight. It takes time, and it takes effort. You have to start by acknowledging that you are still a whole person, even without that relationship. You had passions, dreams, and strengths before your partner came into your life, and those things are still there, waiting for you to reconnect with them. It's about taking small steps to fill the void. Maybe it's trying out that hobby you never had time for, reconnecting with friends you lost touch with, or simply spending time alone and getting comfortable with your own company. The goal is to rebuild your life in a way that's fulfilling for you, not because someone else is part of it, but because it's what makes you happy. Yes, it's hard. It's incredibly tough to shift your focus from what you've lost to what you still have, and even tougher to start building something new. But this process is crucial for your healing. By rediscovering yourself, you start to regain your confidence and your sense of direction. And soon enough, you'll find that you're not just surviving the breakup, you're growing from it, becoming more self-assured and more in tune with who you really are. Step 7. The power of self-love, healing from within. Perhaps most importantly, focus on self-love. Heartbreak can take a toll on your self-esteem. It can make you question your worth, your attractiveness, and your ability to find love again. But don't let it. Remind yourself that you are worthy of love, that you deserve happiness, and that you will find it again. Self-love isn't just about pampering yourself with bubble baths and spa days, although those can be nice. It's about treating yourself with kindness, compassion, and respect. It's about setting boundaries, knowing your worth, and not settling for anything less than you deserve. Heartbreak doesn't just affect your emotions, it can take a toll on your physical health as well. That's why it's important to take care of your mind and body during this time. Prioritize self-care in whatever form that takes for you, whether it's exercise, meditation, journaling, or simply getting enough sleep. Exercise, in particular, is a great way to boost your mood and reduce stress. Physical activity releases endorphins, the body's natural feel-good hormones, which can help counteract the feelings of sadness or depression that often accompany heartbreak. Eating well is also important. While it's tempting to indulge in comfort food, try to maintain a balanced diet to support your body's healing process. The healthier you feel physically, the better equipped you'll be to handle the emotional aspects of recovery. Step 8. Moving forward, embracing the future with hope. Moving forward after heartbreak can feel like an overwhelming task, especially when the pain is still fresh. But as hard as it may seem, embracing the future with hope is not only possible, it's essential. Hope doesn't mean clinging to the past or waiting for your ex to come back. Instead, it's about believing that there are better days ahead and that your future holds new opportunities for joy, love, and fulfillment. The first step in embracing the future is to acknowledge that life goes on, and with it, so do you. No matter how much it hurts right now, this pain will not last forever. Time is a great healer, and with each passing day you'll find that the intensity of your emotions will start to fade. It's important to allow yourself to grieve, but also to recognize that this is just one chapter in your life, not the entire story. Step 9. Cultivating healthy relationships. As you start to heal and move forward, it's also important to cultivate healthy relationships. This doesn't necessarily mean jumping into a new romantic relationship right away. In fact, it's often better to take some time to be single, to rediscover who you are outside of a partnership, and to focus on building strong, supportive friendships. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, who encourage your growth, and who are there for you through thick and thin. These are the relationships that will help you build resilience and remind you of your worth. It's also an opportunity to set new boundaries and standards for the relationships you want in your life, ensuring that you don't settle for anything less than what you deserve in the future. Step 10. Embracing change and the unknown. One of the most challenging aspects of moving forward after heartbreak is embracing change and the unknown. It's natural to feel a sense of fear or anxiety about what lies ahead, especially when the future feels uncertain. But change is a part of life, and often it brings about new opportunities that we could never have imagined. Instead of fearing the unknown, try to see it as an adventure. This is a chance to explore new possibilities, to meet new people, and to experience life in a different way. While it's easy to get caught up in what you've lost, try to shift your focus to what you have to gain. There's a whole world out there full of experiences waiting for you. Embrace it. Step 11. Finding closure within yourself. Closure is a concept that many people struggle with after a breakup. We often seek closure from the person who hurt us, believing that if they could just explain why things ended, we'd be able to move on. But the truth is, closure doesn't come from someone else. It comes from within. To find closure, you need to make peace with what happened. This means accepting that you may never get all the answers you want, and that's okay. Closure is about forgiving yourself for any mistakes you think you made, forgiving your ex for any hurt they caused, and deciding that you're ready to move on. It's a conscious choice to let go of the past and focus on the present and future. One way to help achieve closure is through a ritual of letting go. This could be writing a letter to your ex, which you don't actually send, where you pour out all your thoughts and feelings, then either burning it, shredding it, or throwing it away as a symbol of release. Or it could be as simple as decluttering your space of items that remind you of the relationship, creating a fresh environment that represents a new beginning. Step 12. The power of positive affirmations. As you work on healing, incorporating positive affirmations into your daily routine can be incredibly powerful. Affirmations are positive statements that help you challenge and overcome negative thoughts. When you repeat them often and believe in them, you can start to make positive changes. Some affirmations that might resonate with you during this time include, I am worthy of love and happiness. I am strong and resilient. I am moving forward and creating a beautiful future for myself. I am letting go of the past and embracing new opportunities. I trust in the process of healing and growth. Repeating these affirmations daily can help you shift your mindset from one of pain and loss to one of hope and empowerment. Step 13. Giving yourself time and patience. Finally, remember that healing takes time. There's no set timeline for getting over heartbreak, and it's important to be patient with yourself throughout the process. Some days will be harder than others, and that's okay. Allow yourself to feel whatever emotions come up without judgment. Healing is not a race, and everyone's journey is different. Some people might take a few months to move on, while others may take longer, and that's perfectly normal. What's important is that you're taking steps forward, no matter how small they may seem. Lastly, step 14, the road ahead, a new beginning. As you move through this process, keep in mind that every ending is also a new beginning. Heartbreak, as painful as it is, can be a powerful catalyst for growth and transformation. It can teach you about yourself, your needs, your boundaries, and what you truly want from life and relationships. By facing your heartbreak head-on, understanding it and actively working to overcome it, you're not just moving on from a past relationship. You're moving forward into a new, stronger, and more self-aware version of yourself. So embrace the future with hope, knowing that this chapter of your life, as difficult as it may be, is just one part of your story. And remember, the best is yet to come. Your heart will heal, and when it does, you'll be ready to open it again to new experiences, new love, and new opportunities that are just waiting for you. Thank you for watching, and if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear this message today. If you're committed to this journey, drop a comment below with "I am strong and resilient" to show your dedication. Subscribe to Stay Stoic to continue receiving insights and strategies for mastering your mind and conquering your life. Join our community, engage with our content, and let's grow together. You're not alone, and together we can navigate the ups and downs of love, loss, and everything in between. Stay strong, and I'll see you in the next video.